Hey YouTube, this is Yirmiah Who Weeps. I am going to be going over the unforgivable sin. No forgiveness. Okay, I am just going to delve into the scriptures because I'm guessing that's where most people, hopefully most people, get this concept. So I'm going to start off in Marcos or Yohanan Maccabi, or what people know as John Mark or Mark. And it is in chapter 3, verses 20. I'm going to go through 20 through 30, okay? I think there's only like one or two verses that they actually take this concept from, but I want to give the context. So, well, to start off, before verse 20, in chapter 13, it says that Yeshua went up the mountain and he called the ones that he wanted for him, and he appointed 12 of them who he called his Talmudim, his students. Okay, so that's the pre-context. Then to go into chapter 3, verse 20. I'm just going to start reading. I'm reading out of the Net Bible off of online, and I've got some of my own notes that I'm going to refer to. So, and I'll stop and insert my notes as I read. Now Yoshua went home, and a crowd gathered so that they were not able to eat. Talking about Yoshua and his Talmudim, his newly appointed students. A crowd gathered so Yoshua and his students couldn't even get something to eat, because there was a crowd there and they were like getting in their business and stuff. When his family, or let's see, they've got a footnote here. Let me see what it says. His family. Sorry, reading real quick. Well, some versions, I guess, have when the scribes, meaning the experts in Torah, and others heard about him, but here they have family. So, I'll leave it up to you to figure out which one. It's not real pertinent to what I'm saying, I don't think, so I'm just going to keep on going. When his family heard this, they went out to restrain him, for they said, "He's out of his mind. He's wacky. He's lost it." The experts in the Torah who came down from Yerushalayim, otherwise known as Jerusalem, which means, I think it means reign of peace, like ruling of peace. I think it's ruling. Anyways, it might be rain like raindrops, but you can look it up if you want. The experts in the Torah who came down from Yerushalayim said, "He is possessed by Beelzebul." And that Beelzebul, okay, there's my first note. Lord means Lord of the Flies. Since flies do not acknowledge authority, this is a quote from Abarim Publications. That's where I'm getting this quote. I thought it was worthwhile. So, if you want to know where I got this quote that I'm reading, it's from Abarim Publications, Abarim. Okay, you can look it up online. Okay, going on. Since flies do not acknowledge authority, this name is an empty title, and a good look at the behavior of flies may yield some insights in the workings of evil. Yahweh's empire is like that of bees. The Hebrew word for bee, which is Deborah, is the feminine version of the masculine debar, which means word or message. It's an ordered arrangement, basically, of thoughts. And it would be logos in the Greek. Bees have a house, they like flowers, they make honey, they speak a language, they care for their offspring, and they are armed. Shatan's empire, Shatan being the adversary, enemy, who people commonly call Satan, Shatan's empire is like flies. Flies are homeless, they like dung and decaying flesh, they make nothing, they speak no language, they don't care for their offspring, and they are not armed. So they said, getting back, they said he's possessed by Beelzebul, the Lord of the Flies. And they also said, by the ruler of demons he cast out demons. And the demons there, the Hebrew is Elil, and basically means worthless, a deity or a being without power. Idols are called a leal, I believe, where they're worthless, good for nothing, basically just pieces of trash. So that's what these demons that they're talking about are. They're worthless beings that are, they're not good for anything, because we don't worship them. They don't do us any good. They don't contribute to anything for us. I mean, they and they contribute something as far as Yahweh is concerned, because they help build us up. By us overcoming them, but that's their purpose. So, anyways, going on. Verse 23. So he called them and spoke to them in, well, it says parables, but the Hebrew would be mashal or mashalim, and means their illustrations of similitudes or metaphorical. They're metaphorical stories, basically. Often a parable or proverb as a story of comparisons. So they're metaphorical comparison stories, is what it's talking about, the mashalim. I believe that's how you pronounce it, I'm not positive. Going on. So he called them and spoke to them in mashalim. How can Shaitan cast out Shaitan? How can the adversary cast out the adversary? If a kingdom is divided against itself, that kingdom will not be able to stand. If a house is divided against itself, that house will not be able to stand. And when it says house there, it can be saying the emperor's house. It's not meaning necessarily where he lives, but it's meaning like his family, his offspring, the people that he's associated with, the people that he rules over. That's his house, the people that he has authority over. So if a house is divided against itself, if an authority group is divided against itself, that authority group will not be able to stand. And if Shaitan rises against himself and is divided, he is not able to stand, and his end has come. But no one is able to enter a strong man's house and steal his property unless he first ties up the strong man. Then he can thoroughly plunder his house. And verse 28, I tell you the truth. Or here, let me read it from my version really quick. I'm telling you the truth. All missing the goal will be lifted up and removed for the children of Adam, even all reviling and slander. Verse 29. But whoever reviles towards the Ruach Kodesh in this age does not have release from or towards this age, but is bound to age enduring, missing the mark. Now that missing the mark is, from what I understand, the Hebrew concept of sin. It's basically our mark, our goal is Yahweh and the things of Yahweh. So that's what we're aiming for in life. And when we do error or do wrong, we're missing the goal. We're off target. We're not on target to Yahweh and His ways. So that's the missing the mark, is being off target from Yahweh and His ways, from goodness and truth. And there's one more verse I'm just going to read really quick. Because they said he has an unclean ruach, he has an unclean spirit or breath or character. The experts in the Torah were saying this about Yeshua. So, just going back over verses 28 and 29. Yeshua says, I'm telling you the truth. All who are missing the goal, everyone who's missing the goal, will be lifted up and removed. All missing the goal. So all wrongdoing will be lifted up and removed for the children of Adam. So for the children of Adam, all the wrongdoing and missing the goal that they've done will be lifted up and removed. Even all reviling and slander. And, the ultimate reviling and slander is the reviling done to the Creator. But here he's just saying even all reviling and slander. But whoever reviles toward the Ruach Kodesh, the separate breath, the separate character or spirit referring to Yahweh, because Yahweh's spirit, and so the most separate breath or spirit would be Yahweh himself, or herself, however you want to put it. So whoever reviles towards, whoever does reviling aimed at Yahweh, so their reviling is reviling Yahweh, because that's where they're aiming their reviling. It's towards Yahweh. In this age does not have release from or towards this age. So that release towards this age, the release is it's directing the verb. This is my understanding, anyways. It's directing the verb towards this age. So it's saying whoever is doing this doesn't have release from this age. They're basically stuck in this age and this age's way of doing things and this age's mentality, but is bound to age enduring, missing the mark. So that it's an age enduring, basically wrongdoing and error. So they're bound to this age because they're reviling their creator. So they're basically stuck, and the only way they can be unstuck is through going to Yahweh and getting Yahweh's help. That's my understanding. So that's Marcos or Maccabi Yochanan or John Mark or Yochanan Maccabi. I'm sorry, John Mark or Mark, chapter 3. And the other verses that I found that are pertinent are in Matthew, verses 22 through 32, and it's pretty much the same story with a little bit different. I'm just going to read. Then they brought to him a Elil possessed man. So it was a man possessed by Elil, by worthlessness or a worthless spirit or being. However, I think there's a couple different ways to interpret that. But anyways, going on. They brought to him an Elil possessed man who was blind and mute. Yoshua healed him. Oh wait, no, not Yoshua. And he healed him, and that he is referring to Yoshua, but it actually says, and he healed him so that he could speak and see. All the crowds were amazed and said, could this one be the son of David? And that reference right there is, of course, referring to basically the king, the promised king, the king who would redeem Yisrael. Okay, so that's what they're wondering. Is this the one who's been promised and who will be our king according to Yahweh and who will redeem Yisrael and lead us to freedom? But when the Perushim, and the Perushim commonly called Pharisees, Perushim means the separate ones, I believe. I think that's right, because there's the Perushim and the Tzedokim, and the Tzedokim are the upright ones, and the Perushim are the separate ones, the set apart ones, the ones that are separate from excuse me, common humanity, the faults and foibles of people, and they're separated to Yahweh. So anyways, going on. But when the Perushim heard this, they said, he does not cast out Elil except, or I'm not sure how to say that in Hebrew. Elalim, maybe? If it's masculine. I'm not sure. I'm not that good with Hebrew. I'm going on as best I can. So he does not cast out Elalim except by the power of Beelzebul, again meaning Lord of the Flies, the ruler of Elalim, the ruler of worthlessnesses, or worthless ones. Now when Yeshua realized that what they were thinking, he said to them, every kingdom divided against itself is destroyed, and no town or house divided against itself will stand. So if Shaitan, or the adversary, casts out the adversary, he's divided against himself. How then will his kingdom stand? And if I cast out Elalim, worthless ones, by Beelzebul, by the Lord of the Flies, by whom do your sons cast them out? For this reason, they will be your judges. They will be the ones that will decide on whether you're right or not. But if I cast out Elalim, or worthless ones, by the Ruach of Yahweh of Elohim, by the character of Yahweh of Elohim, the breath or character of Yahweh of Elohim, then the ruling or kingdom of Yahweh of Elohim has already overtaken you. How else can someone enter a strong man's house and steal his property unless he first ties up the strong man? Then he can thoroughly plunder the house. Whoever is not with me is against me, and whoever does not gather with me scatters. For this reason, I tell you, people will be lifted up and removed. Every sin and blasphemy that they have will be lifted up and removed. But, or not blasphemy, I'm sorry. Every sin, every missing the mark and reviling. But the reviling against the Ruach will not be lifted up and removed. Whoever speaks a word against the son of Adam, referring to Yeshua, and I'll get to that in a second, I'm planning on, will be, that will be lifted up and removed. But whoever speaks against Ruach HaKodesh will not be lifted up and removed, either in this age or in the age to come. Okay, that son of Adam, you know where Yahweh is promising Adam and Hawa that they're going to have a redeemer, and he's promising them that a redeemer will come and rescue them and basically rescue all of humanity. All over the place, Yeshua is referred to as the Son of Man, which would, I think it would actually be in the Hebrew, the Bane of Adam, and of course, is an English word, but the Son of Adam, meaning the promised one to redeem humanity. And then it says, whoever speaks against Ruach HaKodesh, meaning the separate breath or separate spirit, referring to Yahweh, will not be lifted up and removed, either in this age or in the age to come. So my understanding there is he's saying, if you speak against Ruach HaKodesh, you speak against Yahweh, that's not gonna be, I don't know. I think there's a few different ways of looking at that. That's not something that's gonna be lifted up and removed. That's something you're gonna have to bear. I don't know how long. He doesn't really specify how long. I mean, it seems to be that it could be just as long as, I don't know if it's like as long as you're alive or just, I don't know. That's interesting. But it seems to be that he's saying it's not going to be forgiven. That's not something that's going to be lifted up and removed if you do it in this age or if you do it in the age to come. That's not something that's just going to be lifted up and removed. But now I think all missing the mark will eventually be removed. So I think it'd be really interesting to find out exactly when that speaking against Ruach HaKodesh, speaking against Yahweh, when that's going to be lifted up and removed. Because it's going to be, because that's what he indicates other places, that he's not going to keep sin and its consequences. He's not going to keep that around forever. He's going to bring restoration to everyone. So if anybody has any thoughts on that, on when exactly it will be lifted up and removed, I'd be really interested to find that out. But whether it's a wrongdoing, it's missing the mark that's happens in this age or happens in the age to come. I don't know. I believe there's going to be a point where it is removed, but yeah, so if anybody has any insight into that, let me just go back really quick to in Marcos Maccabi. Yeah, I didn't really work on this verse in Matidyahu, so I'm not quite as clear on that one. Almost 20 minutes. Whoever speaks a word against the son of Adam will be... I'm looking. Okay, whoever speaks a word against the son of Adam, it will be lifted up and removed from him. But whoever speaks against Ruach HaKodesh, the separate breath, or spirit, referring to Yahweh, it will not be lifted up and removed, neither in this age nor in the age to come. Interesting. Okay, well that's all I've got on those. So I welcome any kind of feedback. I hope this has been at least somewhat helpful. But I think that it's a kind of thing where Yahweh's not just gonna let it slide if somebody's reviling him. It's almost like they're by doing so, they're being bound over to an age of missing the mark. But I mean, we kind of all are, because we're all missing the... None of us hits the mark perfectly. I mean, the mark being Torah, the goal being Torah, the Torah being the instructions of Yahweh and the expression of his character. None of us is able to hit that perfectly, so we're all basically bound over to missing the mark. So we're kind of all in this. And if somebody's doing that in the age to come, then they're going to be still having struggles in the age to come, and they probably, I don't know, maybe they won't be perfected until the end of that age. But that's what it seems to me. Anyways, I welcome any feedback. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you for watching, and Yahweh bless you greatly, and have a very good life. Thank you, Yirmiyahu Weeps. I'll talk to you hopefully later. Bye.